G'day everyone, my name's Mick Frawley and I'm an engineer at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and I thought I'd make a couple of videos about problem solving. Now at JPL we solve tons of problems every single day, from simple to incredibly complicated, in order to land things on Mars and put satellites and robots and rovers all over the solar system. So I felt like I'm pretty good and pretty intuitive at solving problems, or at least I enjoy solving. That's kind of why I'm an engineer. So I'd love to talk to you today in case you're an engineer or a budding engineer and you are just getting stuck on something, or you're working on a project, whether it's at school or at home or at work or anything like that, and you just want a couple of extra tips. So the first one's obvious. Just keep working at it. The reason you're an engineer is because you kind of like solving problems. You like tricky problems, you like figuring out how stuff works. So the first suggestion is to just keep working at it. The longer you work at something, the more likely it is you're going to figure it out. You're going to put the talent and the skill and the knowledge that you have to use. You're going to understand what you weren't seeing before, what you need to do to fix the problem. Then you're going to go ahead and fix it. It feels fantastic. It's such a rush. That's one of the biggest reasons I love being an engineer. Figuring stuff out, learning stuff, and just solving problems. It's fantastic. It feels really cool. So yeah, that should be your first step, is just continuing on with the problem, or at least having the mindset that you're going to stick with it. You're going to keep going on with it. A quote from my sister has really helped me through the years is, your success is directly proportional to the amount of times you just say, stuff it, I'll figure it out. And honestly, the more times you can do that, the more times you can have that in your head to just think, you know what, I'm just going to figure it out. I'm just going to do it. That's going to help you on in your career. It's going to help you on in life to have that attitude that you're just going to take the problem on, you're going to figure out what it needs to do, and you're just going to get it done. The other thing that I like to remember is anxiety is the antidote. The other thing that I like to remember is action is the antidote to anxiety. Anytime you're worried about which way to do something, or you've got a bunch of options for how you can move this thing forward, but you don't know which one to do because you can see problems with each one, or each one has its own different set of issues, just do one of them. Starting to do one is way better than thinking about all the ways that they could each go wrong. So just start doing one of them, because it's very likely that if you start one of them, whichever one it is, maybe the most likely, or maybe just a random one, maybe the most wrong one, but just start doing one of them, and then you're going to see pretty early on if it's viable, if you should keep going, if you shouldn't. And it's just a better way to think that you should be attacking this problem. You should be moving ahead with it. You obviously need to think and you need to plan, but don't get caught in wondering which one or which way you should do it or which thing. Just move forward. Just make a plan of action, or just start doing the action, and that's going to help get your head past the anxiety of not being able to solve a problem. The next step, talk to experts. Nothing wrong with talking to people. There's nothing wrong with asking someone in the field who has knowledge about the situation or the problem and asking them for help. A really important step though is, before you go and get help, before you go and ask for help from someone, you should know this problem back and forth. You should know what you're trying to solve, what you're trying to get out of it. You should be able to clearly say the steps, the measures that you went through to try to solve the problem, and why you think they're not working, where you think you might be getting caught up, other things that you think that you could do to solve the problem, anything like that. You should know this thing back and forth. I mean, it'd be helpful if you could solve the problem, but it's even more helpful when you're talking to somebody to give them all the information and tell them all the things you tried, why you don't think it's working, all that sort of stuff, because that's going to show them that you're not just going to them and saying, hey, solve this thing for me. You're genuinely trying to solve it yourself. And not only that, you want to understand why it's not working. You want to be able to do it in the future if this problem comes up. And that person that you bring that information to is going to see that, and they're going to want to help you, because it's great to be able to help people that want the help and that want to be able to do it themselves, instead of someone coming and just saying, hey, solve this for me. I love doing that, and I love doing that to people. I love going to someone, giving them all the info and why I don't think I can solve it, and then having a great chat and brainstorming. Sometimes it might be an easy answer. Sometimes I might have to think about it and get back to you, but going to them with enough information and showing them that you've tried to solve it yourself, that you understand the problem at least a bit, will give them more motivation to help you and show you why the problem wasn't working, or why your solutions or suggestions weren't working and help you get to the right answer. The next one, explain the problem to a non-expert. It doesn't have to be someone at work. It can be someone in your family. It can be your spouse, your kids. It can be your pet. Just explaining the problem, trying to put the problem in simple terms can really help you visualize it in your head better, because sometimes it's easy to get caught in a problem and just get caught in the real specifics of it. But when you're forced to explain, a potentially really technical problem to someone that doesn't know anything about it, it forces you to think of the problem in a different way and definitely simplify the problem down to the real essence of it. And you're going to get two helpful things out of this. You're either going to put it in your head in a way that makes you think about it differently, and that's going to help you maybe come to a new solution, or maybe think of something that you didn't think of before, specifically because you're reframing the problem in much simpler terms. You might not even have to have them give an answer. It's more about you reframing the problem so that you can think about it in a different way, and that's really going to be helpful for you. The second thing is, when you explain this problem to a non-expert or someone out of the field or someone unrelated to it completely, you're going to get out of the box suggestions. You're going to get suggestions from them, and they don't have to suggest anything. This is just potential, especially if it's your pet or your kids. But you are going to get suggestions that aren't thinking of all of the extra things of the problem that you're involved with. They're not going to have any assumptions about it, that you're just going to tell them the simplest version of it, and then they're just going to think of a way where it might be related to something that they're doing or that they're involved in. But they're going to give you, if they give you an answer at all, they're going to give you something that you might not have thought of. And that can sometimes be really helpful because of the assumptions that you're going to have for this field or this discipline or this problem specifically. And that can sometimes help you go back to square one and really think about this problem from a different point of view. So that can be really helpful. Last one for now, I guess. Our fourth one is start the problem from scratch. The amount of times where people get caught up in the specifics of a problem and they're trying to solve something at the 8th, 9th, 10th step without realizing that if they change something back at the first step, or they might have got off the wrong path, and that's led them down this way where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things work. But once you get to the 8th and 9th things, they're not working. And they're so focused on solving the 8th and 9th step without realizing that if you start back and went on a different path, you're going to get all the way. Now, this isn't always practical. If you're years into a problem or years into something that you're working on, or just the kind of problem that you're working on, sometimes you cannot go back to the start. Go back a few steps. Go back a few more steps than you've been thinking about. Starting the problem from scratch is a really helpful way to get rid of assumptions that you've made throughout getting to the end of this thing, or throughout meeting this problem head on. You're gonna find that maybe you made a decision at the 2nd, 3rd, 4th step that could have gone a different way, and that might solve that step at 8th or 9th step. That's gonna help you get around that thing. You might realize that there's a different whole way that you can do the assignment or the thing that you're working on, where you don't even need step 8 or 9, where you can get around it. Like I said, sometimes it's not practical. Sometimes you're not able to start the whole thing from scratch. But just as an idea, just as something that you can do to think about, what would you do if you had to start from scratch with this problem? How differently would you make it? Would you have made choices that other people had maybe made at the start of the assignment or start of the problem? But reframing it from the beginning and thinking how you would have done it from the beginning before you get to this problem, that can really help take things back, because you're going to find sometimes, not all the time, sometimes that you will go a completely different path that will avoid that, or early changes to the thing that you're working on is going to help avoid it, or you're going to see different ways to get around it. So I'm going to come out with a few more of these things because I really think it's a helpful thing when you get stuck on a problem, when you're working on something, whether it's design, whether it's anything like that. But it's really easy to get stuck and to get bogged down and to think that, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough for this. Why am I here? What's going on? That imposter syndrome starts creeping in. And it's really easy. We all get imposter syndrome. I get it. A lot of us get it at NASA because we're solving incredibly hard problems. And sometimes you just get stuck. And so throughout the years that I've been there, I've found it really helpful to rely on a lot of different ways to solve a problem. Like I said, the first one, just work at it. Just work at it. Just put more and more and more time into it. Learn about it. Watch videos about it. Read articles about it. The internet can be a magical tool where you can find out so much amazing stuff. Verify the information that you're looking up and make sure it's related. Make sure the people that you're listening to have an idea of what they're talking about. But research the information. Understand as much of this problem as you can. 2, talk to experts. Make sure that you know enough about the problem that you're able to explain it in a way that they're going to understand that you're actually trying to solve this problem yourself. You just need a little bit of a help to get over the line. So really make sure you're able to come to them and know all the details about why you're in this predicament, what you've tried to do, what you think could be the case, and what some future things that you might want to do. And they're going to take you on and help you out with that situation. 3, explain it to a non-expert. It's going to make you reframe the problem in your own head to explain it in simple terms, and you're either going to get a new way to look at this problem that you weren't thinking of before, or you might get a completely out of the box suggestion from this person that you're talking to. That's going to be really helpful. And 4, if possible, think about how you would start this problem completely from scratch. Go all the way back to the start, or go back to a few levels and think about choices or changes that you could make to either avoid it or to make this problem that you're at really easy. Anyway, I hope this helps. I'm going to try to make a bunch more videos talking about how to solve problems, or how to think about problems, how to reframe them, or suggestions for how it helped me in the past to get past problems. So I hope this has helped, and have a good day. Good luck out there.